take cover! Roar! Roar! Houbra is this giant worm, and he's very dark green. Roar! And he's gonna put his hands on all of the city. He's a giant worm who wants to trash our city. He's very ginormous. When you look at Houbra, you'll think he's a very big, ginormous, scary worm. And if you think you're right, you're right. He is very scary enough to do all that stuff. He's so enormous, he can even break a little car. He'll do anything. This worm is unstoppable. He'll try and do anything. He can eat anything he sees. Every time he puts his eyes down, he will eat them. And you might think that Houbra's a really scary worm, and you're right. He is very scary. He'll get anything. Roar. He'll try and damage the city without even knowing it was them. Roar. I play Kangra. Kangra is this woman who wants to discover Houbra and see what he's up to and see what his next big plan is along the city. And he asked Mr. Vanny if it'll be okay to where if he can go test it out. Mr. Vanny, please, we gotta go see what that worm is up to. No, Kangra, it's not safe out there. That worm is dangerous. The society will be ending for you and him and even your life. You'll lose everything. So promise me you will not go near that worm. And Kangra goes anyway, and she realized that the volcano that Houbra lives in, it might not be big enough to where Houbra could just discover it on his own. He must go discover it in its own kind of town to where he can just, pop out of nowhere and make a little pop-out cameo to where he can just start trashing everything, and then it'll be the end of everyone in this world. I played this man called Puffer. Hey there, Kangra! Hi, Puffer! Puffer is Kangra's best friend for life. He'll be near Kangra all day long because they're best friends for life. And his idea is to join Kangra and stop Houbra from destroying the city. And these two friends will save the day from Houbra from destroying everything. So what's the plan? I got a plan. What's the plan? We're gonna jump on his neck. Are you kidding? I'm not jumping on that nasty thing's neck. That thing must be slimy and everything. We're gonna do it anyway. What? And together, him and Kangra will save the day from any danger that Houbra makes. They just gotta work together as a team. Roar! I think the best thing about making Houbra is trying to make every scene look as calmly as we can. And during the making of this film, we wanted to make sure that the actors get the purpose to where, so when the film is getting made, the actors will have that kind of purpose to where how to jump right and how to run right and how to jump on the CGI worm that we were animating. And animating Houbra was a lot of time. We took all the joints on Houbra, designed the puppet, and then we designed it on the on a little scanner. Scanning on a little calendar, and then after that, we kind of have one of the actors to go inside the costume, and then filming. We had all the characters to do all the things that Houbra would do. We had like a little, copy or a little bone skeleton for Houbra, and then we take it to the animation. First we film it, then we gonna pause it, get all the lighting on, then we animate it, and then all of a sudden, boom. You got a real life Houbra getting up and moving, just what the actor was doing, and then we film it, and then we take a lot of editing, and people love that kind of stuff. And the best thing is, we had to take a lot of time doing it, because or else the film was gonna go all stupid and then no one was gonna be able to watch it good. And one of the best things about Houbra is that he's a giant worm. He lives in a volcano. About a volcano, it gets really but dirty, but lots of good locations in it. And from the backstages of Houbra, we wanted to make sure we get the great angle. So when Houbra starts trashing things and he starts making other people feel welcome, we want to make sure we take that all together to make it seem like he just blew everything up. Because when he blows everything up, everything wants to make it good. In the volcano that Houbra lives in, we want to get a good angle out of it. We have to make sure we take a lot of dust, just throw dust and dirt everywhere on it to make it seem like that's really Houbra's home. Because the volcano he lives in, we have to make sure, put it all together so he can know that he lives in a dusty volcano. And when Kangra and Puffer go discover him, they'll know that how they see how his home is. Wow, that's one dirty, disgusting volcano. Who would want to live in a place like that? The wormwood. I know, I'm just kidding. And from the moment that Houbra pops out of his own house, they both get scared. And this angle took so many tries, we had to make sure we had to take one step at a time. I'm gonna make the director so it's action! I'm gonna make them run so fast. Make Houbra run fast. Roar! And the way he runs, with that instant replay. And as you can see how Houbra runs, the 3D model running can make his legs go from this part to the other part, make him start running. And make a big blast of them running fast. And both of these scenes took really so many tries. We had to make sure we take, like a human parts to make the acting go well. Like we do this part and then we do this part and then we make the actors go rolling around doing flips and everything. We take effects from the computer and make Houbra do the same thing. And I grew up loving worms in the first place. I grew up loving worms. So many worms that I've been discovering, would have made it as so unique and so downburden. And we wanted to design Houbra the same way. Make it seem like he was breaking everything. But if you're a big fan of Houbra, you'll know what I mean. And some of the actors in this film got really nervous because they thought it was going to be a real worm. But I told them, it's just a movie. You know how it is about filmmaking. It takes a lot of time for just to get a film, get it so scary. And we wanted to design Houbra to where he gets really grown. Like he's a big role model. Make him seem like that he's a big role model. We're going to start testing and see. Then we did some little bit of animation tests on Houbra. We wanted to make the animation test look a little bit funny. Like we do this kind of scene with Houbra looking down, and then he goes this side, looking at that side, and then he goes to that side, and then next thing you know, he starts breaking everything. Obviously, I think the most part of this is just making it seem like he just really broke something, like making it seem like he really just broke something from this side or from this angle. Dun 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 dun. And the sound design was really good. We had to make the sound design sound really real, so people can really think it was real. Smacking noises, hitting noises, and the roaring sounds. The roaring sounds was my favorite. That was my favorite part about adding into this film. During the making of this film, the sound design editors had to make sure they had it done. The sound design editors had to sound every roar that Houbra makes. Roar! And all the sounds that Houbra makes, it just takes it all down from one angle. And we add it all together and we put it in the script. We added onto the script because all Houbra say will roar. He won't say nothing else because you know he's a worm. He can't really talk, but all he can do is roar. Roar! All he can really do is roar. And for most of them who think we really get hurt in the film, we don't really get hurt. This is just acting. First, we have to do one angle. We just gotta do pretend fighting. Ugh. Not really pretend fighting, but we just gotta do the kicks. We put it in a gag reel. Ugh. We put it in a little bit green screen. We put it in a brown screen to make it seem like it's more scarier, like fighting in the dark. And then, once in a while, the final editing, we just make it seem like it's the real worm trying to beat up the real human. Using cameras like these, we'll want to use a good HD model and get the 3D out. We turn the 2D in some good dimensions to make it seem like it's real. And that's why we're going to take it from one side to another. We take from this animation from this center. And we add the music on here. And the music editors did a good job with the music. Roar. Houbra is one of the scariest worm movies you've ever seen, and when you see it, It's gonna change your worm life. Like, it's gonna be like you're never gonna want to play with a worm again. Dum 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 dum. Cause worms these days, they just get bigger and badder. And you wanna join them as a team. Ready to go stop this nasty worm? Let's go stop him together. Let's go. Run! And it's gonna be a blast to see at Facebook and in theaters with the 2D models, with the Facebook models, and the 3D with the Facebook. When you go see it in Facebook and in theaters. Houbra. In theaters and Facebook May 7th. Tickets on sale now. Rated PG-10.